Okay, guys, I'd like to welcome back to the show. We got Brooks and Matt with us. Guys, how are we? Welcome back to Let's Get Freaky.
How's it
We're
going?
doing great, great. Thank you.
Now, I've got to say first, congratulations. We've got a new married man in the house tonight. Matt, congratulations, brother.
Thank you very much.
It's
Appreciate it.
how's it feel now being a lost man? I shouldn't say that.
Ring starts to feel like a pair of handcuffs.
Yeah,
No,
man,
I'm
I know. I
fine.
feel your pain, brother. Congratulations, man.
Oh,
That's
thank you.
great. Great news. Brooks, I've got to ask you before we get into it tonight. I saw a video on Facebook of you in a princess dress at the
Which,
wedding.
which,
And
which? Hold on. Before we go,
Yeah,
which time?
there were two of them.
and I was like, what's going on there, man? You got to tell me. I mean, it looked amazing. You look beautiful, by the way.
Oh,
But
thank you. I try. I shaved my head up for the Rapunzel look and everything. It was really good. Well, the dress came apart because you probably seen on Facebook. I'm a big hockey fan,
yeah.
and our hockey group there was a theme tonight called Pucks and Princesses, and we didn't know it was a daddy daughter dance. We kind of were like, hey, let's be idiots and dress up as the whole section dressed up as Disney princesses. So bought the dress and everything like that. We went out, had fun, had a big ball, yelled at some hockey players in dresses because that's as one does. And then I was helping Matt and Justin with a lot with the wedding. And I think what was it, like 6 hours before, I was like, hey Matt, I still have the dress.
Yes.
Do you
Yeah.
want to do something funny?
Yep.
So we decided, Matt originally said, hey, no first look. Let's just kind of get this started going and have a good time. And then he was like, all of a sudden, he goes, no, let's do a first look. So I was the first look.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
You saw
Matt,
Justin turn around and go, "Oh, Brooks, you're so pretty." Yeah.
I was like, you're
Hilarious.
so handsome.
when you first saw him and he was about to get married, did it make you question if he was doing the right thing? Uh,
Yeah, I
if he
was
was
just
picking
trying
the
to.
right woman?
Just want to know if I had enough coffee and alcohol. That's all that really mattered to me.
Yeah, when I first saw it, because obviously in the conspiracy world, a lot of celebrities dress up in dresses and it's meant to mean something. So I was just wondering if it was something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's his weekend persona.
Yeah. But you look good. You both look great, guys. And congratulations again, man, because
Thank you.
it's amazing. It's amazing stuff, man.
It's
So,
amazing
Said I
somebody
look
actually
better in
said
the
I
dress
do
than the
when it comes
suit.
to this.
so other than getting married and all that fun stuff, you guys have still been out paranormal investigating.
Correct.
What's been
Yes.
going on, man? Let's get into it because I'm excited to hear this.
Well, we kind of dropped off a little bit after our interview last time. We gotten really busy with work. There's been a lot of things going on with me, a lot of things going on with Matt, obviously. And then about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, we decided, hey, it's been long enough. Let's start getting out there. I starting to run out of content to post and such because there's like I post everything and everyone goes, oh man, every time you guys go out, it's something. I said it's not every time we go out. It's just you guys see all the stuff that happens. So I was like, I'm running out of all this activity. And we were like, you know what? Let's go back out. And the park was closed most of the winter, so we were still fighting that. We went over to that school and it was closed. So we're like, let's go to Elkmont. Just get something. It's been a while. I know we go there a lot, but let's head over there. And it hasn't skipped a beat. If anything, it's gotten more activity.
It's gotten worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just in
Um,
case people weren't listening last time, how far away are you guys from Elkmont?
uh, Alkmaar is right in the Great Smoky Mountains, and from the park entrance where it's closest to us, I'm about 45 minutes, and Matt is literally spitting distance and at like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I think I did my odometer last time, and we are like a total of 12 miles. But that's all
if
back roads coming back.
yeah, if that.
Yeah.
So Matt is pretty much your backyard.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
cool,
It's a
man.
it's a beautiful backyard, and people visit it all the time now.
Yeah.
Keep trying to tell them to go away. They don't listen.
You start charging, man.
We should.
So
oh
you
boy.
went there and You got some more activity?
Oh yeah, and I'm trying to do some more things which I've been slacking on. I've been trying to do a little bit more videos of me talking and explaining things, or trying to get some more, you know, intro shots or something like that. Because a lot of people dislike our videos because it's just full raw footage and it's long, and sometimes nothing happens. Sometimes a lot of things happen, and they like that, but they would also like a summed up version. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see if I can give the best
Yeah.
of both worlds here. So we went early during the day, and Matt got a drone, a little drone that he almost killed his newly husband with, um, or he killed himself with it. I don't know. I don't remember.
It flew across the room into the bedroom and slammed down. Tried to kill the cat. Tried to kill Justin. It was great. Yeah.
So I started flying it around Elkmont, getting some video and pictures, and Matt walked into not our normal cabin, but the one right next door to it. And as he walked up, the door slammed right in his face, basically. So we're like, well, that's where we're going tonight.
That's where we're going. Exactly right.
Wow, and that's how it started.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's how the night started. And we went in there, and I set up all of our motion lights and our music box, and the music box went off instantly, and 30 seconds. And I'm like, okay, sometimes this happens. Sometimes it's seeing something that it's no longer seeing, like it tilted or something. So I turned it off, made sure it was level, turned it back on. 20 seconds went by and it started going again. And it went for about 45 seconds and it stopped for like 5. So I was like, okay, cool. Something's definitely triggering this. And I'm on the camera and you can see me like, I'm like, no, this pine cone, that wasn't it. This little piece of leaf, no, that wasn't it. Putting this rock back and forth, no, that wasn't it. Okay, so it's definitely seeing something. And I forget what Matt has. It's a certain radio. I forget what it is.
That's a GSMR radio.
Okay. Yeah, he put it on scan, and he said it goes about like 5 miles ish. So it was picking up any radio frequency in the area too. So anytime that would go off, it was mostly static. It just static, and then something else would happen. Something big would happen. So
It
radio would
was.
go static,
Yep.
and then a bang, a knock, or the music box. So it was like almost a
Interesting.
warning.
It happened like that all night long.
Yeah, in
It was.
multiple cabins, multiple
Yeah.
areas.
Wow, but you
We were
guys didn't
really
listen to those
intrigued.
warnings. Yeah, I
Yeah. Oh
bet.
yeah. We hear those warnings. We go run to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
I'm trying to do this in order. It's been 4
Yeah.
weeks, and
It has.
there's a big part of this story where it's caught my full attention. But there, like I said, the static would go off, and then you would hear a knock or a bang. The music box would go off. Cool, interesting. And we were, moving around talking. We didn't get too many names that night. It was a lot of the same, but it wasn't get out. It was a lot of welcoming this time, which was not usual.
No.
Usually it's get out, get out, get out, leave, get out, run, hell, devil, go, be
Mhm.
gone.
Yeah. So because they were like, "Hey, you've been gone for a while. Come on, join us."
Oh, that's kind of the feeling we got, and they're like, "Oh, do you remember us?" And they said our names instantly.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Spirit box.
See, that blows my mind. When spirit boxes say names, like how I don't
Oh yeah.
understand, man. It's
Well, we'll
wild.
get to it in a little bit, but we kept telling the people that went with us last time, don't ever say your names out loud. They know ours because we're there all the time. And within moments, it's Brooks, Matt, Brooks, Matt. Yeah.
And
We're
every
like, we
once in a
told you.
while, it'd say their name, and I'm like, "Did you guys accidentally say your name, or are they just guessing?"
Hmm. It was so weird, but it was fun. All right,
Oh
so
yeah.
back to the radio going off.
Yeah, radio would go off. We'd hear a bang, music box, lights. It was almost a game at that point too. And Matt kind of looked over at the one time the music box was going off, and he's like, "There is a figure peeking out of the door." And sure enough, it's a long hallway, and there's 2 rooms on the left that connect, and then there's one room on the right that connects, and then all the way down at the end of the hallway, there's 2 steps down, and it's kind of like a sunroom with a fireplace connected to another room, and then the outside, or the one
It,
room from the left, the one room, and there's another room in the back, and it goes outside on the right. And he's like, come here and look at this. I'm sitting on the little ledge there looking down the hallway, and sure enough, you would see like almost like a fog almost, and it would come around the corner, music box would go off, and it would come back around. And come back, music box would go off, and it would stay there, music box go off the whole time, and it would go away. So trying to focus on that a little bit, and he never really said his name, never said his purpose per se. He kind of just like watched us the whole night. It didn't answer too many questions, but
It
it
did
was
make
interesting.
noise.
It was a lot of noise. He listened a lot.
He let us know he was there.
Yeah.
Was that the picture you sent me, where you can see the shadow figure peering around the door?
Yes. Yeah, that wasn't the door that we were seeing him the most, but that music box stopped, and then Matt heard something kind of past that room, and then he took a picture, which we actually have a light behind it that's shining. So to see a shadow peek around it, it don't make sense, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's
Yeah,
the edge of the door. That's the shadow of the door." I'm like, "Well, that doesn't make sense if the light is behind it."
yeah. But the
Yeah, and if
picture
you know
you
anything,
sent me, sorry.
I was gonna say, you know anything about night photography, it is a pain in the ass to do right. So we make sure things are lit up in certain areas so it doesn't look so bad.
Yeah. That picture you sent me, you could clearly see the outline of
It kind of,
a face and a body.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
man. Wow. See, for
and
me, I'm scared already, and you guys are still there.
and we didn't see that at first. That was like one of those things where, anytime Matt hears the knock or the thing, he takes a picture just to see if we can see a reflection in the glass or the shadow of like we got, or nothing. Usually it's nothing. But in that picture too, and which I can post it in, or you could post it with the episode,
Oh,
there's
cool.
like beams of light coming from the ceiling, which we don't understand. It could be like a weird flash thing with the camera, but I don't fully understand, because he took one of those rapid pictures, and the next one right after it don't have the shadow or those. Because I think I sent you both pictures, but
Yeah, they were cool pictures, man. I mean, I could see it straight away because you didn't tell me what was there. You just sort of sent me the picture and said, like, "What do you think?" And I could see it. I could clear I could
yeah,
clearly see the figure looking round the corner.
I definitely like sending pictures, and I'm like, hey, no context. What do you see?
Yeah, yeah, that's
That's
the
even when
best
we do it with
way,
each
mate.
other.
That's
Yeah, validate me.
Yeah.
Wow, man. So did you say you had someone with you that night that had never done this before as well?
No, that was
Not
just me
that
and
night.
Matt that
Oh,
night.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, that night it was just me and Matt. We were trying to get one of my coworkers out, but he was tired with work and he worked all day. He's one of the only guys that will work the whole shift
Yeah.
in one position all day, and then he's like,
Oh,
"I want
wow.
to go out, but I'm tired," and I'm like, "Go, Doc, go home. You'll be all right."
And he's probably seen your videos and thought, nah,
Oh yeah, he
I
love
don't need that.
he loves it. I've actually sent you pictures that he sent me down at the bottom of my roller coaster.
Yes, yeah. Was
Yeah.
that
So
the
he
entities that
has a
you could
little,
see while he was in his car? He could see an entity. Was that right?
yes. Yeah.
Man,
So
wow.
I can't really speak on his experiences down there, because he tells me a little bit, but I just know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. He has experiences as well.
Oh yeah. Um, but that house started to die down that night. So we're like, you know what? We haven't been to the Grandma Joy cabin in a while.
Mhm.
Let's head over there. We'll skip cabin 13, our normal cabin, tonight, and we at the time we were like, we'll come back to it after Grandma Joy because it's right next to the truck. But once I say the story, people will understand why we didn't go to that cabin.
No. Bye.
So we went to the Grandma Joy cabin, and we went in there, and every time I go in there, I always knock on the door first, and I always have the spirit box on. I knock on the door like, hey, can we come in? It's usually yes, we can, but then it's quickly, as soon as we are in there, get out, leave, your time's up. But we set up and we're talking, and not a whole lot was going on there. Music box went off a few times, not a whole lot. But Matt's radio went off in a different tone this time. It was almost like a deeper stat. It was like a deep static. Gunshot, gunshot, gunshot. And it sounded, I would say it sounded like 50, 80 yards to our left, which
Yeah,
down
it wasn't
there
far from us at
is,
all.
no, which down there, I would say it's about 200 yards down the road is a campground connected to Elkmont. It's the Elkmont campground. So, you
Wow.
know, I had that video posted on my TikTok and I've sent that one to you. You know, me
Yeah.
and Matt instantly, I was like, hey, lights out. And we all grabbed the lights, we turned them off, we threw them in the bag, zipped up the bag, and we sat in the dark for, say, good 15, 20 minutes. We just sat
I
in
think
the
it was
dark,
20
just
minutes.
watching.
Yep.
And,
Because
you
I
know,
mean, even if it's not a hunter, if it's somebody's going, oh my God, there's somebody who saw what we did, hold things down for a minute. We'll see what's happening.
Yeah.
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 Lights out, camera never stopped rolling, which I looked back on that footage. There's nothing that the camera sees, so there's nothing really to post there. We went outside and we just sat in the darkness. The moon wasn't really out, so you couldn't really see unless you've been in the dark for a long time. And in the woods over in that direction, there was a light. I would say it's about, I would say 9, 8 feet up in the air. And then that light turned into 2, which then turned into 3. And we just watched these lights, and they're kind of like
Somebody was
almost
walking in the woods.
Yeah,
it
it kind of
us.
like the bobbing of a walking. I'm like, okay, headlamp, flashlight, whatever. And we're just watching these for the whole 20 minutes, and they're there, and they're like, those are getting closer. They're getting closer, but they never got closer. So we're watching, and I'm like, hey, you ready? I think it's time to, bounce out. I mean, I feel like the Rangers would have been here by now because, we're always taught, gunshot goes off in the woods, the Rangers will be all over us. Plus, the
Yeah.
Elkmont campground has a caretaker who lives on property. So obviously, you would think he would have heard something.
Yeah.
So we got in the truck, and we saw these lights walking back, got to the truck, turned on the truck, and the lights were gone. So it's like, okay, did they go lights out? And this whole time we're thinking we're at this point we're still thinking it's a person, but we're entertaining an idea just to see what people think. But as we were driving by, this campground is full of people. I mean, 30, 40 campers just in this tents, campers in this campground. No one is astir. There's no one awake. There's no one up. This just happened, and they were loud.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was a very high caliber gun, but it was loud enough where, somebody would have heard. And we drove 5 miles down the road, called the Rangers, and he was like, "Oh, okay, weird." He goes, "I don't have any Rangers in that area tonight." He goes, "I have more tourists over in the Kate's Cove area tonight, so I have all my Rangers over there." It's kind of been a short staff week because we have Rod Run next week, so we want all of our staff that next week. So I was like, all right, yeah, no, cool. I just wanted to let you know there was 3 gunshots in the woods. He goes, I don't think it was a distress call for hunters because it wasn't rapid. Usually it was
It was
pop,
spaced.
yeah, pop 3 seconds, pop 6, 7 seconds, and a third one. So it was a very it seemed like it was shooting something, whatnot.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, well, I'll get a ranger over there. But he goes, I haven't gotten a call from the caretaker or anything like that either. So he goes, we'll see what goes on. I was like, okay, well, I got the video footage if you need. But the thing that we're entertaining is the chance of it being residual energy in the area from back when.
Yeah, man. So nobody should be shooting guns at any time in this area.
Not in the national forest. No.
No, there's no hunting in the national park. There would be really no reason to shoot a gun unless you're getting attacked by a bear, hog, or a mountain lion.
Yeah.
And even then, the bear pretty much will leave you alone. The hog will charge you, but the bear will leave you alone.
Yeah, bears don't really do much here.
Yeah. Man. And nobody woke up. You'd have thought if a gunshot's going off, that's going to wake up all the campers.
Especially since it sounded like it happened in the middle of the campground. Like we were probably, I would say, one of the furthest people away from the gunshots that were around.
Yeah.
and we heard it. I heard it through the noise canceling headphones and everything.
Wow, so that's loud, man.
Yeah,
You might have said, but what time was this at night? I think you've already said, but
it was about midnight. I would
Yeah,
say.
11:30 midnight when we went in there.
yeah,
And we got back at, I know it was like 2 weeks ago, but I called the Rangers at like 12:38, something like that.
yeah, man.
Which,
Because so most families they're going to be asleep at that time,
Oh yeah.
and if you hear guns going off as a dad, but you guys know you're going to be up and you're going to be, you're going to want to know what's going on, man.
yeah,
Not only that,
I
it's more of
called.
a primitive campground too, so they don't really have like satellite and cell phone service or anything else down there.
Yeah, I called the Rangers at 11:48 p.m.
Okay, yeah, so it was late.
Yeah. About midnight, yeah.
Do you guys, if you don't mind me asking, do you guys carry guns?
Yes. Well, I
Yeah.
have mine. Matt sometimes has his. And then usually my buddy Josh will have a few.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's the one from the last time where I said he pointed a gun at a ghost.
Yeah. Well, I tried to hit a shadow figure before, so I didn't have a gun on me. If I did have a gun, I probably would have tried to shoot it as well. That's for sure.
You guys don't really do guns over there, do you? Unless you're a farmer.
We don't. My dad's got a gun, but it's not a very powerful gun. You can have guns, but it's a lot more strict. You have to be. There's a lot more rules to it, and
Yeah.
you got to keep everything separate, locked up in your house. I don't have I've got a BB gun. That's as much as, which can do a bit of damage.
Oh, here it's open carry. You see them on your hips all over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can open carry here, but in the next state over, you have to like separate the mag, separate the bullets, put the mag
Yep.
over here, put the gun over
Yeah.
here. You can't be able to reach it in your car if you go. And I'm like, oh God, the rules from state to state is very weird.
Yeah, it's mad. It's like countries, isn't it? It's like different countries' rules, sort of.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. It's every state has their own law. I mean, you go to Texas and it's like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
You go to Pennsylvania, California, and they're like, okay, this gun needs to be in a separate car. You have to take 2 cars.
A 47-digit safe code. You
Yeah.
can't get near it.
Yeah, thumbprint, eye scanner, and DNA. So it all depends on where you're at.
I think I'd like to have the gun laws like you guys have. To be honest, I think it makes. I know it's dangerous. But it's dangerous having knives. It's dangerous whatever you've got. So I
And
think
me and Matt go into the woods a lot, and we're in both agreement. The most scariest thing that we can encounter is a person.
yeah,
Oh yes.
I mean, yes, these things that we do can hurt you. Yes, we understand that, but we're also in agreement. Like, okay, we're not going to really be able to hurt them.
Yeah.
So there's no point. My gun is there for mainly wildlife, and that one person who wants to cause trouble in the woods in the middle of the night. Because I'm sorry, if you're in the woods at 1:30 at night messing with us, you're not there for the right reasons.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Or your
man.
car's parked on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Yes, which
Yeah, we'll get there.
we'll get there. That's not paranormal, I don't think, but that's definitely some Appalachian.
We
That
wanna
was
hear it.
weird. That was weird as shit.
Oh yeah.
We want to hear that too.
Oh yeah.
So at this time, you've heard the guns go off. You've heard the weird noise on the spirit box that
Oh yeah.
you've
And that
never
was the
heard
radio.
before. The
Yes,
radio.
Yeah, the radio. Now the whole night it was like regular static. If you click a radio and don't talk, you hear that static on the radio.
Yeah.
That's the normal. It's like he put the bass up on this thing. It was like almost like you can hear it in the video, but it just goes off, and you're like, okay. And then immediately after, first shot, 2 seconds, next
Yeah.
shot, 6 seconds, next shot.
That is strange. Did it feel like they were connected and that was?
It definitely, we felt like it was definitely like a warning.
Yeah.
Every time it went off, something else happened.
Something
So-
happened.
Yeah, just about. I would say 9 out of 10 times something happened every time that damn radio went off.
Interesting. And did you feel like that was building and who knows where it would have gone if you didn't get out at that time? I know you saw the lights as well. Or did you feel like it
I don't
was?
know that. I don't know if that night I didn't really get that feeling of like, okay, we definitely need to go. It was definitely one of those things on our mind, like we should go just in case it is a person. Because, like I said, me and Matt both still think it was a kid or somebody messing in the woods that shouldn't be in the woods, poachers or something like that.
If it's
So
poachers, they get what they deserve.
yes, that's
Is
basic. Yeah,
is that quite a common thing, poachers? Is that something that happens a lot, or
yeah.
Especially in the Rocky Mountains. I mean, we're in Appalachia now, but I live in the Rocky Mountains, and they
I
whip
don't.
all the time over there.
I could be wrong. I don't really see much about poachers in the Smoky Mountains too much, but I mean they are a thing.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
everyone
Yes,
would
I
love
had
a black bear on their house hunting cabin. So
right.
yeah,
They used to go hunting for ginseng out here. It was still a pretty big thing. It's just not as popular as it used to be because it's now illegal.
yeah? So these lights that you saw, how far away were they from you?
I would say, wait, 120 yards, Matt.
About
Yeah, because we were
120,
towards the
130.
end.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were towards the end of Elkmont on that side, and there was only what 3 cabins on our left, and then the big main cabin where you can have a wedding, and then it was
yeah.
kind
There's
of
the
like
clubhouse.
kind of right behind there, like maybe 20,
Yeah.
50 feet.
Okay. And could you hear any noises with these lights, or was it just the
It
lights?
it was dead quiet. There wasn't bugs. There wasn't usually it was raining all month, so you can hear the running water in the little creek that's down there. So I mean, you couldn't hear that. You couldn't hear the bugs. You couldn't hear. Every once in a while, you heard a plane, which we've been hearing a lot here recently. A lot of planes.
Also seen a lot of National Forest Service and U.S. government vehicles going up in there. So
Interesting.
we don't
For
know
all
yet.
those conspiracy lovers, there is
Yeah.
Yeah.
there was some government vehicles. The 100% tint vehicles and everything like that.
Black
We ran.
helicopters.
We don't know what color the helicopters were because it's at night. But we had black
They're
SUVs.
up
We had
there.
white SUVs.
The
They show
white
up there all the
SUV.
time.
We'll get to the white SUV here in a little bit, but that tint on that white SUV was dark, and then
Interesting.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you guys
But
are in Bigfoot Dogman territory as well.
Yes.
yes,
You see that grin on Brooks's face.
Oh,
She's like a little kid right now. He's a little kid.
I am a little kid because I will say something because Matt. Anytime I've brought Bigfoot up, Matt goes, "Okay, no, there's definitely some other explanation to this." Not saying Matt's not a believer in Bigfoot. He is to an extent. It's just like one of those things that it's okay. Before we go Bigfoot, we have to
yeah.
narrow this down.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
cool.
finally got him to agree. Where he even said it before I said it. He goes, "That's a Bigfoot."
Jesus, yeah.
Wow.
We did try to go through every option before I actually said those words out loud. Because he's
Yeah.
a kid in a candy store, and I'm like the dad, like, all right, calm down, kids. That's just how it is. Yes, right? So.
That's how I would be.
Can I pet it? Yeah, that's what he wants to do.
But
I think it's good to be skeptical though, because obviously when you hear a wood knock or some people jump to the Bigfoot straight away.
yeah,
Which I
I
think
will say
I
that's the one thing we haven't gotten is a wood knock, and I've been trying.
really not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. I've been trying on that one. After we left Elkmont, we waited our week. We went to work. Matt did his job. I did mine. Was it the following Sunday? The school opened up in the woods.
Mhm.
So we're like, hey, I think it was almost our year anniversary if we're doing this, but I said it's time for that night hike that we did again. And my buddy Josh went with us, and Kirsten went with us again. She's our sensitive, and then Matt, obviously, me and Matt. So we're like, you know what? We're gonna go and do this night hike. The last time we went, something followed us on the way back, and that place has never been the same again. We got up there and we went up, and the cabin was finally redone, so we were actually able to investigate it. And they were known cannibals in the area, so it was very, very interesting to hear what was going on because we were getting a lot of voices, a lot of names, and it was kind of sad because Matt, when we go up there, he said because he's related in a way to the people who lived in that cabin. and he would say that there's little mounds over in the woods area, and they're on top of them, they're rocks, they're graves, the remains of the bodies that they ate or killed, or and underneath it is the bodies.
The bodies, yeah.
Wow, man.
You don't hear that kind of the story whenever you hear about the national park. It's always
No.
they're lovely, lovely people. Oh no, they weren't. But it's okay.
Cannibals.
Yeah.
There's Appalachian Mountains. There's a lot of cannibals that survived in this area.
And I'm struggling not to say the name of the place too. I'm trying not to, because some people will go over there and start desecrating it and everything like that, and then we're trying to avoid that, because we've said Elkmont. That's why I'm so freely with Elkmont.
Yeah.
But I think people have gone there and have done Ouija boards or something. They've definitely stirred some things up, because there are times where it's weird. It's a different type of evil, I would say.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say demon, but it's not good things.
Yeah, for sure. So these cannibal activity that was going on, how long ago was that this was happening in this area?
They stopped doing it in about the 40s, 1940s.
So that's not
Everybody
really.
froze.
I know it's a long time, but it's not really a long time ago. Like 1940s.
Yeah. And then doing our investigation over there, there's a porch over there, and we were kind of sitting on the porch, and I said, hey, there's a black shadow figure over kind of in the tree area over, but there's like a little what's it called, not an outhouse, but like a little shed almost, and there's a pine tree there. And I was like, oh, okay, looks like there's a dark figure behind it. And Matt goes, oh yeah, and there's one over there, and there's one over there. And I'm looking, and I didn't see the first one he pointed to, but I saw the second one he pointed to. I was like, okay, weird. And we kind of just watched them, and they never moved. They never really did much. And then they kind of just disappeared. Like you kind of just saw it get lighter over there.
So you could you could see these with your naked eye.
Oh yeah, it was darker than the dark.
Man,
and then, like I said, it was kind of, and then the one I was looking at, because I saw it, it kind of just like, it almost like it blended back into the darkness of what it was. So you saw it got lighter, and it just gone.
Wow. Did you capture that on camera, or did you get them?
I tried to get some pictures. I haven't seen if we caught it on the picture. I'm still looking to see if there's any correlation, because every single picture you could see this darkness, but even after I said it went away, you could still see it. So I'm still trying to debunk that a little bit.
Yeah.
To make sure.
Wow, cool thing to see, though, man.
Oh yeah. And the music box inside the cabin, it went off a few times. Nothing too crazy, or normal. But then it was like, hey, follow us. We got to show you something.
Yeah, that one was fun.
Yeah. This is kind of where it kind of gets a little sad. Because she always wants it, but our sensitive, she'll wear the headphones most of the night, because they talk to her like it's us talking right now, constantly, instantly, and detailed. And these spirits crying the whole time, mind you, led us to their grave, a grave that no one knew about. Like, we were, I would say, 80 feet into the woods, and then off the trail by like 45 feet.
Yeah,
and there was
I knew of some of them, but I did not know about that one.
Wow, was this a marked grave?
No, just the
mound
you saw
of
the mound and the mound of rocks over it.
Man.
And it was really sad, because they knew what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of, okay, cool. We pulled her off the headset. My camera never stopped recording, but I was always pointed down. It was like, okay, we need a second. Let's regroup and let's pack up and start going back. Be a little bit respectful. We already kind of.
And something else that was kind of weird on that night is she kept saying a name, one that I'd never heard. And she's like, this person did it. I was like, I don't know that name. Not a day later, I found out that was her middle name. And that's the name she went by.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I showed you that little article there.
Oh, that okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's like, it's Caroline, is what she kept saying or something. I'm like, there was no Caroline. No, there sure was.
This is their middle name.
Yeah, use her middle name.
That's
It
wild.
was her. It was like they're like we asked like who hurt you, because they kept saying they were hurt, and they kept saying this one name over and over and over again. And on our way back, you could definitely see those dark figures kind of back in the woods, kind of where the trail was. So they were kind of just keeping an eye on us the whole time. They kind of got aggressive with me sitting in the cabin. They kept calling me boy and shut up.
Yeah.
But
Man.
Did you tell them when we were walking? Because I lost you guys for a minute. I came back, but did you tell them about Josh trying to point something out? And I said, no, you didn't see that. You didn't hear that. Nope.
You remember on our last interview where I said that there was something mimicking an owl?
Yeah.
He heard something similar to that, and he goes, "Was that?" And I went, "No, shut up."
No. And we're in the woods, and he goes, "Hey, did you see?" And you didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Hey, did you see that thing flash a red go over there? I'm like, we'll talk about
You're
it
gonna
when we
get
get
us
to the
killed,
truck.
son of a bitch. Yeah, go get it. Wait till we get out of here before you start talking about it.
Yeah, he's like, okay.
Wow, man.
But yeah, we
See,
started. Oh, go ahead.
no, you go, man.
I was about to move on, so if you had a question.
So you was seeing these, you was actually seeing the shadow figures in the dark night, darker than the dark.
Darker than the dark, standing on the wood line or kind of on the house. There was one that was upstairs, but they have the upstairs like it was a weird like wooden stick cage kind of deal.
Yeah.
They just don't want people up there, but they wanted to show like this is how they did it. But there was somebody up there too, but we couldn't get up there, obviously.
Yeah. Wow, man. Terrifying stuff.
It is. In a sense, we find it fascinating where here we go walking straight towards them until we can't see them no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always find it interesting. You can never see them. You can never see them up close. Like if you walk right up to them, they just kind of disappear, fade away. But if you're far away, you can see them.
Yeah.
You never look directly at them. It's always in a peripheral vision too. Like right in front of you, it won't happen. It's always to the right or left.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. Do you
Sorry,
think
my wife just got home, so my dog's going crazy.
That's all right, man. Do you think that's sort of these, whatever these entities are, do you think that's them playing with you, like trying to, I don't know what they're doing, but
there's
what do you
times where we
think?
think that they're toying with us, like, hey, let's mess with these guys a
Yeah.
little bit. And then there's some times where they're just watching, like what are they doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? So
Yeah,
it's
man.
it depends on, I would say, the spirit, the place, and the day.
Yeah. I know it's difficult and we don't really know, but what do you guys think shadow figures are? I'm just interested to know what you think they are.
So,
I know it's difficult because
well, no, like we've had discussions about ghosts before, and we've come up with different theories on spirits and ghosts. I don't think we've specifically talked about shadow figures, but it could still go in the realm of what we discuss of what if there's like a duality of realism almost. You got one timeline meeting another timeline, and somehow we're both there at the same time. They see us as some sort of figure, and we see them as a sort of figure.
yeah.
But that's why we can communicate, and then we go our separate ways.
Yeah.
So I know it sounds really odd, but we try to come up with 1,000 different reasons for things.
Yeah, no,
Shadow
for
figures,
sure.
I don't know.
And then there's the theory that I pull up of residual energy. Oh, I didn't know my cat just scared the crap out of me. I didn't know she was in here. Residual energy where I forget the timeline of it, but the stars that we see now, they're dead stars, but the light is still dimming out for hundreds of years,
Yeah,
but we still see that light even though that star's not there anymore.
that blows
So
my
it's one
mind
of
as well.
those.
That blows my mind how
Yes.
that's a thing. That really does.
So
Man.
I kind of look at it that way too. Like, okay, there's so much energy in that soul where we're still seeing it tens to hundreds of years later.
Yeah, interesting, man. I mean, because the only time I've seen shadow figures when I've been asleep, waking up, and there's been something standing there, and like obviously you realize it is terrifying, and then it disappears. That's what I've experienced.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think there's all different types. I don't know. I think there's different types. I mean, I don't know.
And the best part about being an investigator is, you can't just look at one theory. You have to look at them all.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, you have to take every single one and be like, okay, yes, this is the one I believe the most, but you also have to look at the ones where you're like, okay, I don't fully believe this, but
yeah.
let's try something here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. And the more people share their experiences and you sort of put all these experiences together, and it's like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
It is, and it's just one of those things where it's frustrating, but also fascinating at the same time
Yeah, we
because you
will
feel
get.
like you learn something new every single time.
Oh man, for sure. Yeah, and you go down another rabbit hole, and you think you're sort of learning, and then you get this other fear, and you're like, yeah, man, that makes a lot of sense. So we'll hopefully one day we'll know, but
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's why we're here. We're trying to find out.
Oh, and it's a fun hobby.
Yeah, oh, for sure, man, for sure. Scary, freaky, that's for sure,
Oh,
but fun.
oh yeah.
So,
Um,
so what happened next, man? What was the next thing?
well, we made our way back to the trail, and on the whole way down the trail, it was like a lot of those things of, hey, did you see that? And slap back at Josh's head real quick, like,
Yeah.
shut up.
That's how
There was a lot of whoops in the woods. So this is our first little start of the Bigfoot, I guess you want there. There's a little bit of salt in there. This ain't the story yet, but here's the little bit of spice
Yeah,
to start.
man.
Few whoops in the woods, and the last time we talked about it, it sounded like something was walking in a circle around us. It'd go up ahead of us in front of the light, behind us, behind the light, to the left, to the right. But the whoops always came from the right side on where the cliff face is, kind of deal. And okay, cool. I'm gonna grab this stick and I'm gonna try a tree knock. Every single stick I find though is a weak crap stick though, so I smack it and it always smacks me in the back of the head after it breaks or shatters or goes flying at Matt's head.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The
You
day
about
before
died
his
that night,
wedding,
kid.
give him a black eye the day before his wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
Oh,
No
he almost
way,
did. I saw
Yeah,
it flying through
almost
the air, and
did.
I'm going, turn my head a little bit. It hooked me right here.
man. He didn't want you getting married, man. He didn't want you
No,
getting
I
married.
guess not. He's like, don't do
Yeah.
it. Don't marry a redhead. They're evil.
He's turning up in a dress. He's trying to knock you
I
out.
know. Yeah.
Take a hint.
Oh man.
But I had to whack the stick, and I swung with all my might on the stick, and you hear the echo of the crack go through. Waited about 40 seconds, nothing. All right, let's keep walking. Went down the trail a few tenths of a mile. Let's try again. Nothing. But we're constantly hearing these whoops. We're constantly hearing the footsteps. We get a strange smell every once in a while, almost like a sweet smell that turns into an odor, almost like a bad odor. And then it goes back into sweet, and then it just disappears.
Almost like a really wet dog that just got out of trash, and then it disappears again. It was the
Interesting.
weirdest of smells.
Interesting, man. Very, very squatchy activity.
That's where we're like, okay, what else could this be? Like a skunk, a coyote, a bear. But it's I don't know bears that whoop in the woods, and they
So what?
weren't very loud whoops either. It was kind of like just me and you talking right now, like let's walk down the woods at 1:30 in the morning and then hear a whoop.
Interesting.
And it was always in twos too. There was always two of them.
So was that? Do you think two different ones or just?
I think
was-
like they're
it-
communicating.
Ah, okay. Interesting, man. Had you heard these whoops before?
Not there. We heard them at a cabin in Gatlinburg called the Noah Bud Ogle Cabin. We've heard them there, but not at this trail. No. Now we've
Interesting,
had
man.
activity. This is where most of our Bigfoot activity happen. At this location, but we've never heard other than noises to fully be like, hey, that's a Bigfoot. You know,
Yeah.
we've heard bipedal walking, but that's as much as we ever had.
Interesting. That's still so cool, though, man. I'd love to experience that. The whoops that you was hearing, have you heard, like listening to other podcasts or TV shows, have you heard that whoop before? Was it a sound that you've heard, like that you'd notice sort of definitely a Bigfoot sound, basically?
We have heard
Go ahead, Matt.
on other shows and stuff an exaggerated form of what we hear now.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if they're doing it for theatrics or if they're just trying to get you more involved, but it's much different than what we are hearing. But we're
Okay.
still hearing it. It's just different.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. For sure. I would say it's like everyone I've ever heard, it's like a high pitch, almost like a baboon almost, or the famous samurai Bigfoot. You know,
Yep.
you hear
Yep.
that one a lot. This one was like if Matt went over into the woods 40 feet and just yelled whoop.
Mhm.
So it's kind of
Okay.
it was kind of weird. So, you know, okay, possibility of it being another hot night hiker just messing with us, you know, knowing what we do. Now, in that area, not as much I went per se, but it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
And
I
we
often
take that
think
in for granted.
with these some of the Bigfoot groups when they're out, if they're nearby each other making the whoop noises, if they could be communicating with each other. Sometimes, maybe.
Which it's funny because you get a lot of people from the Smoky Mountains on your show, and every
Yep.
once in a while, you know, I'll reach out to one, and I reached out to one of them that I listened to the other day, and we've been talking and everything. He's like, I need to get there, and I'm like, well, do you go in this sort of area? And he goes, no, I'm okay. I'm like, okay, so you're not the one. You don't know anything about my Bigfoot then.
Your area is full of, I mean,
A
so
lot.
much lore, you know, legends. I mean, it's an amazing part of the world, man. I mean, as you say, I've talked to a lot of people from the Smokies and that area, and they all say the same. And there's so much cool stuff coming from there, man.
Oh yeah. But yeah, we finished the hike out, and we went and did an investigation in the school, and I don't think anything too wild happened. I don't fully remember anything too big. I don't know if Matt had.
No, we weren't there for too long either. After that hike,
we kind of, you know, this was we got there late this time. I mean, we didn't get there until like 9:30, so this was already 2 o'clock. I didn't get home until 4 a.m. So, you know, okay, let's pack it up and we'll go. I mean, not a whole lot going on. A lot of our stuff is dying anyway.
to turn the phrase.
Yes. But the next week was the week of the wedding, which was this past weekend. We went back out to Elkmont with Matt's wedding party, I would call them. You know, a few of his friends, a few of the people in the wedding. I won't name any of them because a lot of people don't want to be named. And Matt can say their names if he feels comfortable saying them, but I don't want to be the one.
But I know one of them. He'll never listen to anything like this at all. As he
I'm
said,
sending it to him.
Say his name.
Go ahead.
Say his name. Name him.
Oh, that's Cordell. That's one of my best friends in the world.
Yeah.
This sounds like the coolest wedding ever. You was out investigating on your wedding. That's amazing, man.
It's what he wanted to do for his wedding party, you know.
That's the best wedding
I
ever.
suggested midget wrestling, but you know.
I
That's the
suggested
after
hide and
party.
seek, adult hide and seek, and nobody wanted to play.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
no one wanted to play the adult hide and seek that we've tried.
that sounds cool to me as well. I need to get over there, man.
Yeah, we're still waiting, Tommy. I mean,
I'm
anytime now.
coming. I am coming.
You
That
were
is for
invited to the
sure.
wedding. Come on
I
now.
know. I know. I am coming. I am coming soon, man. That sounds
Oh
like the
my
best
God.
wedding ever.
Wasn't gonna be boring if I was involved.
So was this the day before that you was out investigating?
Yeah.
2 days before and the night before.
Mhm.
We went out twice last
Now
week.
that's a proper, as we say in the UK, I think you call it a bachelor party, stag do. We call it a stag do in the
Yeah,
UK.
yep.
Bachelor party. That's cool, man. That's perfect.
Oh yeah.
And see, the only women involved there would have been two that were already married into the family. So no,
Yeah.
no worries, no strippers.
We'll keep that. We won't talk about that part.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
I'll take that out. I'll edit that.
Oh boy. But that night at Elkmont was, now I feel like it wasn't as active as our previous nights, but I feel like there was a mixture of there was a lot of us. There was 9 of us. There was 9 or 10 of us there. So a lot. This is the biggest amount of people we've ever taken out. And 3 or 4 of them didn't want to be involved. You know, we didn't tell them what we were doing. So when, you know, I'll let the viewers come up with this their own. One's very stereotypical, so he was all hell no. And you know, he didn't want to be involved. He was like, you know, get my ass out of here. I'm done. I'm over with. But it at times we went over to a smaller cabin and we got a little bit there, but like I said, 3 or 4 of them didn't really want to be involved or didn't have any interest in this, and that's okay. You know, if you didn't want to, you know, we gave you the opportunity. We just thought we would have some fun. But they were having their own conversation on the porch, and we were trying to do our investigation on the inside. And it was funny because the spirit was yelling at them, but trying to answer our questions at the same time. They were telling them, like, get the F off the porch, go away, and then they would answer our question. You know, you have 2 fingers behind your back, but get the fuck off the porch.
Wow. Man.
Yeah, it was really, really, really funny.
And
So-
then one of
And
Matt's,
the guy in the
Oh,
black
God.
shoes.
Oh yeah, the guy in the black shoes.
Kept yelling to the guy in the black shoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So these guys that you're with, as you say, that some of them didn't want to be involved and were getting away.
Yeah.
But were the others interested and have done this before?
yeah.
or
Oh
was
yeah.
it- Okay.
They actually came back out. The ones that were interested came back out with us the following day, and that's going to be our big story of the night, I would say.
Oh wow.
But like I said, the one person who came out with us the next day, one of Matt's friends, the spirit was kind of getting very aggressive with him. And before we started the interview tonight, I was talking to Matt, and I said, "What are the chances?" I said, because you know we had a wild night at the school the following day, and it was getting aggressive with him at Elkmont. I said, what are the chances it was just him? And he said, with his personality and everything, there's a good chance it was just they didn't like him. I mean, they were yelling at him like, hey, sit down, shut up, sit down, you know. So it was just one of those.
And he's very
where-
stubborn. He says, no, you're not going to make me sit down. And they start screaming at him, you will sit down. No, I'm not. Yeah. It's funny.
Was he sort of antagonizing them, or?
He wasn't antagonizing them. Usually, if anyone's antagonizing, it's me accidentally.
Mhm. We tell them all, don't do this. Yeah. We tell them all, do not do this. Don't do that. You'll be okay.
Here I come open the door. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to show up in a Rapunzel dress. Look at me.
But yeah, I wouldn't say he was antagonizing them. He was just being like, they were like, hey, sit down. And he was like, no, I'm not going to sit. Why do you want me to sit? Why? Like, he was trying to get them like, hey, give me a reason why to sit. Maybe I will. And they just kept yelling at him, sit down. And that was about the most that happened that whole night, I would say.
Well, what about when they were yelling on the porch and then he figured out where we were?
Go ahead, explain that one.
Okay, so the friend that I've mentioned is he's a very, very dark gentleman, and he was out drinking some whiskey and moonshine with us. My cousin and his fiance were out on the porch. They're the ones who didn't want to be involved anymore. They're like, nope, nope, we're gonna stand outside. There's a little sign on this door. They didn't see it at first. It was really, really funny because we kind of did this on purpose. But you just heard them go, "What the fuck? What?" Lean out the door. He goes, "Did you know this was here?" It's a sign that says "Servants' Quarters." And of course, I bring the black guy, and he says, "You got me fucked up." He goes, "What the hell?" Yeah, there was a lot of expletives that came in after that one. It was really, really funny. They also told us that there was somebody with a particular color shirt. We couldn't get them to. They kept naming the color shirt, and then told us there was somebody buried underneath the porch. So, but that was really funny having this guy, who like you said, stereotypical in this instance. If it has anything to do with ghosts or something, I'm out.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He's like, nope, nope, I don't want to do this anymore. They went and hung up by the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave him a motion light, and every so often you tell them by the truck, like, shake the light so it go back on.
They're scared of the dark.
Man. Wow.
There would probably been a lot more that we caught that night too if it wasn't so loud, and it was raining, so we couldn't hear our normal like outdoor things, I would say, that we would normally. I think if everyone heard without the rain, I think they would have been more into it a little bit. But there was just a lot of noise going on too that night.
Yeah. I guess it's got to be a little bit more difficult when there's quite a few of you, because obviously you're going to hear a noise and you're going to be looking around. Is that you? I'm guessing.
Yeah. But
what a start to the wedding, though, man.
it was definitely some start talking about it, like during even like the ceremony, or not ceremony, the reception. There was just like, oh yeah, and Brooks and Matt took us out to a ghost hunt twice. Oh, how was that? And you go, oh, we ran into Bigfoot. And I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
But yeah, that night I wouldn't say there was too much other than what we've said. And even then, I would say that was very docile. I don't know how to. It's like Matt said, we took his friend, and I'm like, I don't know how to say this without seeming off.
He's trying not to offend him and not seem racist, is what it is.
Well, I'm not worried about not offending him. He offends himself. I'm worried about offending others.
Yeah,
that's cool. It's cool.
I love this guy. His son is my godson, and we decided not to take him out to that because I'm like,
he was gratitude. We thought about it.
Yeah, we thought about it. Yeah, I mean, we did let him drive a Razor around a little bit.
How old is your godson?
12.
Oh yeah, it's too young. Man.
Oh yeah, it's far too young. Yeah, we did take him out on the dirt roads over by that graveyard because it's not a public street, and let him drive around the Razor his dad rented. So he's throwing mud up everywhere. He was so short, I had to get in the back of my truck and get a socket set case to put on his seat so he could see over the steering wheel.
Wow.
Lord, it was fun though.
We took the Razor over to that school too, and we parked over there, and he goes, wow, this looks really cool. And then I was telling him about the little ghost girl that I found like the picture of, and he goes, can we go now?
Yeah. Wow. That's a wedding he's definitely not going to forget. That's for sure.
No. He had a good time. Plus, he's a big car fanatic, and we had our rod run, so he was enjoying seeing all the muscle cars and everything.
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, that night, that one wasn't too much of anything. Like I said, there was a lot going on though. Now the following night, we went to that school in the woods where the cannibals were a mile away, but there was that school at the end of the trail. We stayed there the whole night, and we got there, and we got there, and there was two other were night hikers, but I guess they're on TikTok. So we were like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? Are we disturbing or anything? Or are you disturbing us? And he goes, no, we're about to get out of here. We just walked over to the cabin up there and on our way back. And we're like, oh, how was it? And he goes, oh, good. He's like, y'all are paranormal investigators? And we're like, yeah, and this is one of our more active places and everything. He goes, I could see that. He goes, we did one not too long ago and we didn't really get much of anything, but we didn't really stay that long either. So it was kind of cool to see some other people in the area, but they drove off and we sat and talked for 30 minutes before we even really started, just to see if anyone else would come up because like I said, it was pretty busy in the area that weekend. But once we got started, there wasn't really anything going on at first. Our normal echo in the woods that shouldn't happen wasn't there. I would go out there and make a clap and it wouldn't go anywhere. So I was like, okay, I'm getting a little frustrated. I know I've talked this place up, everyone's excited, and nothing's happening. And I'm trying to say the name of the normal spirits that are there. Billy, are you here? Nothing. Emily, are you here? Nothing. All of a sudden, Billy starts coming over the spirit box. Billy, 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 Billy. And I'm like, okay, Billy. And he's not really answering my questions. He's just saying, Billy's here, Billy's here. And I'm like, okay, Billy, help me out here. And I walked up to the cemetery and it's on a hill, and I walked all the way atop the hill and I kind of just sat on the, leaned up against the fence, looking up into the cliffside hill that's up there. And I'm looking up there, and the only flashlight I have is like a little laser pointer, a big high-powered laser pointer. And every once in a while, I'm just like kind of scanning just to see if the laser would hit anything that's not there. And I'm just talking to myself. They're down in the school. They're doing their Essie's method. I'm still asking questions and they're answering, but I'm talking like, so who's out here? In this tone, this volume. Who's out here? Can I have a name? Where are you? And they're starting to answer questions now. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. And I made a clap, and the echo was there. And Matt heard the echo, and he was like, "Cool." And I came down. And I said, "Hey, cool. The echo's here. We can start." Usually, when this echo happens, activity starts happening. And I said, "Yeah." And I was explaining this to his friend that was standing right there. I was like, oh yeah, there's an echo, and once the echo starts happening, and she goes, what the echo? And I said, listen, I said, clap, and there was no echo. The echo went away. And I'm like, we just heard it. So I walked back up the hill, and I clapped, and the echo was there, and they heard it, and they go, that's weird.
Then he said my name 2 or 3 times listening to it. You could hear my name echo and then not echo. Echo and not echo.
I just started saying Matt's name. And he was saying my name, I was saying his name. And it was weird. And I'm standing up on the fence, and these questions are starting to get answered. And I looked up into the woods, and I saw a big black figure run from tree to tree. Now ground level, but up on the hill. And it ran from tree to tree. And I was like, okay, now I'm not gonna get overexcited. I'm not gonna say anything. And Matt's walking up the hill at this point. And I was like, hey, I said, so I grabbed the laser pointer and I pointed to the tree in the tree. And I said, I just saw a big black figure run from this tree to this tree. And he stares at me and walks away. I was like, what? I said, that's not like Matt. And I walked down with him, and he goes, tell him what. He goes, walks down to his friend, and he goes to her and he goes, tell him what you just saw. And she goes, I just saw a big black figure run from that tree to that tree. And I was like, okay, so I did see that. I said, now I'm gonna take my butt back up this hill.
Yeah, it's a steep hill too.
Well, so two of you saw this figure.
Yes, and I don't remember if Matt said he saw it, but I know she said she did see it. So it was I was like, okay, cool. So there is something up there, or something, spiritual, real. Okay, cool. I'm gonna keep an eye up there. And I'm up there, and I can almost see at the beginning of the trail, it seems like there's something there, but not, like a little bit of a cloud, almost like if you have you wear glasses and you have like a smudge in your peripheral. Yeah. I kind of see that. And I'm looking at it, I'm just staring at it, and I'm just like, okay, who's over here? And they yell, Billy. And I said, okay, hey, Billy, want to come over here, talk to me for a bit? And he's like, okay. He goes, just be careful, the woods. And I said, well, what's in the woods? The booger. And I said, oh, okay, so the booger's back in the woods? And he goes, yep. And I said, okay. And we're up there for a little bit, and I'm still talking. He's not fully still talking to me yet. It's kind of struggling to get him to talk. And
All I saw were cat ears pop up at your shoulder.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God.
don't know where
Yeah.
she came from. I didn't
But-
know she was in here.
For those
Lilith.
for those that can't see that are listening, Brooke just had a cat just literally like a shadow figure look round his shoulder.
I was wondering why everyone went.
You definitely got a cat in your room, right?
Yeah. What? No,
Okay.
I don't own a cat.
Oh,
What?
that would be amazing. Wow.
No.
She was getting this warning,
Yeah.
the booger.
And we'll
Man.
get warnings of bears a lot. Like, hey, bear, and then a bear will come down the trail 5 minutes later, and he makes some noise and he runs off. And like I said, it's still early, and I'm still trying to. I'm not getting answers frequently, but I'm getting them frequently enough to keep going. And then his friend came up, the one that they didn't per se like the day prior. He starts coming up, and I was trying to explain to them. I was like, hey, I said, now listen to this. And I said, there's an echo. And I clap, and the echo's gone. And I'm up on top of the hill, and the echo's gone where it was 2 minutes ago.
And we were just talking about this at the bottom of the hill before you walked up there too.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, the echo's gone. And I'm hearing there's a creek down that behind it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try something. I said, hey, that creek is a little loud. I said, you want to turn that down? I said, turn the creek down a little bit. It's a little loud. And because usually when this echo happens, you could hear everything start getting quiet. Like you hear the bugs stop, you hear the river stop running, or the creek, not river, creek stop running.
Yeah.
And he was explaining, he goes, now watch this. He goes, if this works, he goes, you're going to hear that creek. It's like a volume. You're going to hear it slowly turn down into like a trickle.
They all thought I was insane when I was talking about it. I was like, you don't know how many times we've done this.
Wow.
Sure as shit not, 5 minutes went by, and it went from being very loud to you can almost barely hear it. And that echo is back at the bottom of by the school, kind of near the creek. And no, it's not up on the hill anymore, but it's down where it wasn't 5 minutes ago. So, we did our little bit up there, we're talking, but I was explaining what I was doing. And I said, okay, so the echo's back down there. Let's start doing some investigating down here now, because whatever was up here is no longer up here. It's like a bubble around this perimeter. There's a fence that goes from the parking lot up to the cemetery, and then it kind of just stops at the cemetery. And I feel like if you're in that fence, it's a whole different world than when you're outside that fence.
Interesting.
Absolutely is. And one of my friends, she said, Matt, do you see that there's just somebody on that hill? I said, oh yeah, I know he's there. And as they're not maybe 15 feet from Brooks, I said, yeah, he's there a lot. Don't worry, Brooks is probably talking to him right now. And she goes, it's just normal for you to have someone standing there talking to you? I said, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
The answers your friend is giving me is the conversation I'm having.
Yeah.
Man.
And
yeah, they saw them like crazy, and then they saw them where he's getting ready to discuss about this fence. She had pointed to me and said, Matt, did you just see that? Oh, I saw it. I know what's happening. Don't worry. And then he'll continue with what he's getting ready to tell you about the grounds.
I walked down the hill, and I came down to the school for a few minutes, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to get some names. Hey, Billy, where are you at? And he goes, over near Green Building. And I said, the Green Building. There's a porta potty over in the parking lot. It's green and blue. I was like, okay, let me go see this Green Building. And I didn't go all the way over there. It's far walking. I'm not walking all the way over there.
He's fat. He's old.
Yeah. I walked over to the fence, and I sat on the fence. I just climbed up on the fence, and I sat. I had my right hand in my pocket, and there's a reason I'm telling you this. My right hand in my pocket, and my left hand was just kind of out, and I had my laser pointer. And I'm just staring, and I'm seeing some sort of figure out in the woods, straight ahead. And I don't know what was fully said between you and her, Matt, but you can kind of take part of this one. But I was kind of having a conversation with whoever was right there. So I don't.
Well, my friend had said that she had seen something crossing over where Brooks was sitting, and I said yes. I saw them myself, but again, we do this all the time, so it wasn't a big surprise to me. And I knew he was having a conversation, but 10 feet from him, I couldn't hear his voice, so I knew he was talking real low. Well, she comes up behind me, and as soon as I walk through this gate, he starts to say something. I walked into a wall of ice. No, oh no, we're outside of the hallowed ground, because this was also a church and a school.
It's
So
it's 68 degrees outside this night too. So
yeah,
Man, so the temperature just went boom, straight
but
down.
it's not funny. I mean, it's not funny in this situation, because it wasn't like if I took one step to the right, it was still 68 degrees.
Yeah.
I was standing in this little tunnel of ice. I'd move over, and then she'd come up behind, and I said, just stand over there. She goes, I'm getting really, really hot, and then turned ice cold. And he said, feel my hand. She's holding my hand, and his hand was ice cold. It was in his pocket.
The
and it was
right
ice cold.
hand that was in my pocket was ice cold, but my hand that was outside was my normal body temperature.
Man.
And it was Billy next to me that we've come to the conclusion. So I'll go into this one. It's a little off the topic and a little bit of a stretch and a little bit like it's something just to think about. And Billy is very attached to me. I said if there was any spirit to follow me home, I think it is Billy, or the spirit who says it's Billy. About, I would say, a little over a year ago, me and my wife lost a pregnancy.
Sorry to hear that, man.
It's life. It happens. But a week after, we met Billy, and Billy has been attached to me ever since. So it's very weird, but he doesn't attach himself to Matt. He doesn't really attach himself to Kirsten, Josh, my nephew Colin. No one.
Yeah.
Doesn't attach him, but he is always talking to me, always with me. My wife always said she thought the pregnancy was a boy. We didn't get that far. We don't know fully. So it was very interesting to, think about, he is holding my hand. He was up at me with the graveyard. He is here every single time we come.
Yeah.
It's a stretch, but she brought it up. She goes, ever since you went to this school, we lost a pregnancy. You came home. I have this TikTok where you hear somebody outside my house on the Ring camera. That was the day after we met Billy. I've heard knocks on my window. My cats have freaked out over nothing after I met Billy, and that happened for a few weeks, and it kind of went away.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was this might be from the prison we went to, Brushy Mountain. I couldn't think of it. Brushy Mountain. I was like, I think this is one of them from Brushy Mountain. I think one of them followed me home, and she's like, no, I don't think so. It's not, and it doesn't feel evil or bad. So it was kind of interesting to think of anyway. And like I said, I know it's a stretch, but going into the story a little bit more, if you're hearing my cat, she's going crazy.
Cool,
one of them at the door. He was holding my hand that was in my pocket, and I was wearing a hoodie, and it was kind of, I always roll my sleeves up so it kind of gets stretched out, but the end of it you can feel like something was like a rubber band around my wrist, so I felt like somebody was holding my hand.
So
he was with me the whole night.
Do you only experience, I know you said you had things happen at home, but do you normally only experience him when you're in this area?
We usually only have paranormal stuff going on our adventures, I would call them, our investigations. Elkmont, this place, the cannibal cabin, Brushy, all these other places. I like that nickname, the cannibal cabin.
Yeah, the cannibal cabin. Yeah, that'll work.
You want to go to the cannibal cabin?
That's what I'm going to call this episode.
Oh God.
That works. I think Grandpa will be really, really irritated at me, but I'm good with it. He died in 2003. It's
I
fine.
don't know if that's what you'll call the episode after we get to the next part, but
Oh wow, wow.
uh,
So
for
just before we move on, I've just got a couple of questions.
yeah,
So you're communicating with Billy.
Mhm.
You can't see him, but you're communicating through spirit box and
if through Spirit Box, like I said, I think I saw him earlier when I was up on the hill. Now
yeah,
I didn't see him right next to me, but I felt him. Half of my body's cold, my hand is ice cold. I feel
yeah,
somebody like almost grabbing my wrist,
yeah.
and
And
I'm just sitting
Matt and
there.
the lady that you're with as well, you can see Billy. You can see the
Oh,
entity.
we could see him pass in front of us. We couldn't, like I said, you can't look directly
Yeah.
at them. It just doesn't work. They're always in peripheral.
Who
Yeah,
they were
And
seeing, who as I was talking into the woods a little bit, because there was another entity in the woods, which we don't
yeah,
have any idea
we
what
have
it
no
is
idea
or
who that
who
one
is.
was. It was like I'm looking at Brooks. Brooks is sitting on this split rail fence. So
Yeah.
my vehicle is to my right. The church schoolhouse is to my left, and directly behind me is just woods.
okay.
And then my friend had come up and had just walked through, said hot and cold. And she says, I feel like there's somebody watching me right behind me. And we kind of laughed because we both already knew it was there. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
he's right there. Don't worry about it. We don't know who he is, but he's there.
But
Wow.
Billy, like I said, this is another reason why I'm like it's a stretch, and what there are the chances Billy was my unborn child was he's very attached to me and very like protective almost. So he was kind of like he didn't say don't go into the woods over there, but he was kind of like you should stay here. You should stay here. So I just sat in the fence, and that's kind of where that part ends. And they were starting to get the other people were starting to get like a little bored of the repetitiveness. So and Matt was like, hey, let's want to go down to the creek. We've had kids play with stones down there, or you heard giggling, you can hear them playing in the water. We had a story of where one got hit in the head with a rock and they led us to said rock. If let's go down there. So we walked down there, and this whole time, my hand warmed up at this point, but I could still feel somebody on my right side. My leg is still cold. Now I'm wearing jeans. I'm wearing jeans and boots. My one right leg should not be cold if my left leg isn't. So I feel him standing right next to me this whole time, never stops. And I get up on it. These bridges are weird. It's it's a tree trunk cut in half, and it's kind of just laid across laid across the creek, and there's a railing made out of thicker branches just on one side. So I get up there, and I make it halfway. His friend's behind me. She's right behind me, and she's very worried about me. She's multiple times have said, hey, I don't think Brooks should be up there. Hey, I don't think Brooks should be over there. And Matt's like, he's okay. He knows kind of what he's doing, kind of sort of. If you can know what you're doing in this instance, he knows what he can and can't do. Until I don't. But I make it halfway across the bridge and I can't breathe now. I feel like I am suffocating. Like, and you can hear me wheezing. And she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And she goes, no, you're not. And I'm like, I am fine. Shut up.
He doesn't know when to shut the hell up. I'm like, we're good here. Calm
I
down.
will tell you I'm not fine later in the truck.
Yeah.
Um,
Show no weakness.
yes. And I'm having trouble breathing, and I don't remember this part, but she said I almost fell off the bridge twice. She said I kind of got wobbly and I almost fell off the bridge. I don't remember getting
You
wobbly and almost falling
you
off the
almost
bridge.
stepped backwards off of it, and the other one you almost fell forward. That's why she was. Are you okay? You okay? Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah.
He's
See,
fine. Leave him alone.
I don't if I fall face first, it's fine,
It's fine. It's fine. That's everything's fine.
He bounces. I don't remember that. The only feeling I ever had was I couldn't breathe. And that smell starts to come in that we talked about from the previous week. That sweet garbage, wet dog smell. It's like a Swedish smell. And it goes away very quickly. And I hear a set of footsteps in the leaves to my 11 o'clock. I hear a set of footsteps to my 1 o'clock, and I hear a set of footsteps to about my 4:15.
You're 4:15, yeah.
At 4:15.
Fantastic. 4:15, yeah.
Right there. Kind of at an angle behind me. And I'm just like, okay, this is weird. And this next part gets really weird because we all heard something different. She heard children laughing. Matt heard a scream. I heard dogs barking.
Oh man. All scary stuff to hear in the forest, man. When
Yeah.
things are going on around you like that, man.
Now the kids laughing we've heard in the past. Like we've played games, we've skipped rocks, and this is like a very small stream. Now it's been raining a little bit, so it's a little deeper. You can see a little bit of fish in there, but it's not. I would say it's not more than. It's just under your knee, I would say, and it's not anything big. But okay, we'll skip some rocks. Play with the kids. They're laughing. The dogs barking I never heard before, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's uncommon to hear coyotes or a stray dog running around. Now the woman screaming, it could have been a number of things, but I personally didn't hear that. Matt did. So it was kind of
Not
like
only
one of
that,
those things where we heard different things.
well, he's not talking about the other two that had started coming down that hill. My other two friends are from New York. One of them heard not just children laughing, it sounded like a whole bunch of children playing. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. The other one heard not the screams, but the word help. So
Man.
literally all five of us heard something completely different.
Yeah, that's weird, man.
And all at the same time too.
Yeah. And these footsteps, we're gonna go back because this is where the Bigfoot conspiracy comes into. And they start coming in, and we're like, okay, we're kind of testing the limits a little bit. I have not gotten off this bridge. I've made it maybe 75% across this bridge, and I have stopped. I have not let anyone past me. I'm the furthest anyone goes. And we hear them because Matt's right behind me at this point, and we kind of hear them come in quickly and stop. I would say 3 steps, and they stop. And he's like, hey, let's head back up. And I said, mm-hmm.
It's not so worried about us either. I'm like, everybody needs to get back to the cabin.
Yeah, just get back to the cabin. I said there's a few people who can't walk really well, so if we have to get out somewhere in a quick, we need to.
Man down, leave him. That's what's gonna happen. I mean, you are now part of the forest. This is your house.
Yeah.
I'm leaving you here. I don't care.
Matt goes, let's just go up there and we'll set up some puck lights on the bridge, the motion puck lights that we have. If they go off, something gets close, we'll start filming. I said, okay, we can do that. I said he wanted to put the motion box down there, the music box, and I was like, no. I said that's a little bit more expensive. I don't mind leaving puck lights if we have to.
Yeah.
No, once I walked down there, I'm like, no, we're not gonna do that down here. No.
Yeah. So we're standing up there, and he ran down. I went down with him again, and we set 3 puck lights. We set one at the edge of the bridge across the creek, one in the middle, and one on our side right at the edge. And we walked back up. Now they never went off, but you can hear now a 4th set of footprints over to my left,
Steps.
which is another set. And I go, okay. And I said, hey, Billy, are you still there? My back is cold. So it went from my right side to my back. And he's like, yeah, I'm here. I said, hey, Billy, how many boogers are there? And he goes, there's 8 of them. I said, oh, 8? Okay. I said, there's 8? Yes. 8. Yes. I was like, okay, cool. And then a few minutes went by, and I'm hearing these, we're hearing the movements. I'm still hearing, like, not a whoop, but like almost at this point, I've only heard the dogs once. Now I'm hearing like a slight scream, almost. I'm like, okay. And a few minutes went by, and I said, hey, Billy, how many boogers are there? And he goes, I already told you, Brooks, there's 8. I said, okay.
Man.
Oh yeah, that's not
And
the only time his name gets said out loud either.
no.
That's wild
And
how these responses come at you like that as well. Like,
and it's all
Mind you,
the
he's
SU's
not the one.
method.
Yeah, he's not the one with headphones on at the time. It's
No.
somebody else doing it.
This person is behind me and in the school building. So
And we have
she
a
is,
person between her and then us that is relaying the message.
because I can't hear what she's
okay,
saying because she's so far away. So we have somebody in between relaying the message. And I was like, okay, there's 8 of them. I just wanted to make sure the story didn't change, cross-referencing.
yeah,
And like I said earlier, I said me and Matt like to entertain ideas that even if we don't fully believe them, our job as investigators are to try. Now, I didn't fully believe in Bigfoot's reading your mind. There are some lores and everything that hey, they know your intentions, which I believe, but I don't believe that they could read your mind or you could speak to them telepathically. So I said, okay, let me try something. Let me entertain this. And I had my laser in my hand. I put it in my pocket. I raised my hands like this, and I said in my head, I said, hey, I said, we're not here to harm you. We are not here to be disrespectful. This gun on my hip is not to shoot you. This is not to harm you. This is for bad people and or hogs, wild animals that attack us. If you give me a tree knock, whack a tree, throw a rock at me, make a noise, snort, growl, I will pack everybody up instantly and we will get out. As I said this, his friend, the one that they were getting aggressive, his wife comes around. She goes, hey, something just snorted from behind the school, like a snort. And I said, all right, Matt, pack everyone up. We're getting out. And he goes, what? He kind of comes, what? He goes, okay, we're going to pack up and go. And he looks at me. He goes, what happened? I said, this is what I did. I explained to him what I did. And he goes, oh, okay. And as we said that, we heard the 3 sets of bipedal footsteps rush towards us about 10 feet and then stop, like almost like a baseball slide. You heard the slide and the
yeah,
leaves and the sticks. And I said, okay,
Have you
we're
ever
going to.
played Super Mario Brothers, where you look at the ghost and it stops?
yeah,
You
yeah.
turn your back. Okay, that's about what it felt like because our backs were to
Man,
them. We heard the movement, turn around, and everything stopped. It
Yeah.
was
You
unique.
heard the slide, you heard everything. They stopped. And he goes, okay. And then I heard something in the woods. It was talking, but I didn't fully understand what he said. And he goes, you heard that, right? And I said, I heard it. I just don't know what it said. And he goes, and him and his friend heard this, and it said, Brooks, get out. Now, not the spirit box. The woods told me, Brooks, get out.
man, wow.
So
Yeah.
we kind of went down, grabbed our puck lights.
No, we didn't grab the bug lights. You didn't want to get near that bridge.
I didn't want to get near them, but
I don't
you
blame you,
went
man.
down, I followed you.
Yeah.
Wow, what did the
I
voice
didn't.
sound like? Do you know what the voice sounded like that said Brooks
It
get
was
out?
it was
Too
deep, and it sounded like it was both close and far away.
muffled.
Like this,
Like
it's this echo sound. It was the weirdest way I've ever heard. Like
almost
Brooks,
like
get
if you
out.
were on a different mountain ridge than us and you yelled across in a deep voice. It was kind of muffled but clear, but you can barely. It was just far enough away, but it was loud enough, like it was 20 feet in
Like you
front
were
of
in
me.
a holler. You know what a holler is,
Yeah,
especially in Appalachia. Yeah,
yeah,
it's almost what it sounded like. Somebody's in a different holler yelling your name.
yeah,
Like he sounded really close yet really far.
Yeah.
man.
So at first I was like, hey, so we're leaving the puck lights and we're gonna go. And he's like, no,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go down and grab him. I'm like, well, now I'm gonna go down and grab him with you. He gives me the camera. I walk down there with him, and I'm standing back, but I'm like rapidly taking pictures around him as he's grabbing these things. And we get up, we start packing all of our stuff up, and his friend and her friend are in their car, and she's like, hey, something's growling at us over here, just constantly growling. I said, okay, cool, we're leaving. She goes, well, we don't have to leave just because we're in the car. We were just warming up a little bit. We got cold. I said, no, we're leaving. I said, we're going to the rest stop. There's like little rest stops in the park, this little bathroom rest stops. We're going to go there. park over there. We'll talk over there. And we pack all of our stuff up and we get going. I filmed the whole way down just in case, because I'm like, okay, if something's going to charge us, attack us, tonight's the night.
Yeah.
We get onto the main road of the park, we turn left, and we go down to this rest stop. And on our left side, there's a brand new ice white Tahoe with its hazards on. Windows
Michigan
are like
tags.
Michigan tags, but the windows were like 90% tinted black. You put a flashlight up in it, you can't see through it. And I'll tell you how I knew this. But we go to the rest stop, and I was explaining to the people who didn't hear, like, hey, this is what just happened. This is why we got out. And they were like, yeah, things were starting to get hostile, it seemed like. And we heard this, and that. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what we heard. And this is what I did. I said what I said in my head, and this is what happened. I said, hey, we needed to leave. And they went, yep. I said, and then she goes, did we see that car on the way out? I said, yeah, we saw the car. And she's like, should we go see if they're okay? And we're like, me and Matt were both like, no, you don't do that in the middle of the woods. You don't, no. And I was like, I'm going to run to the bathroom. I said, it's right here. I said, I'm just going to run to the bathroom quick and we can head back over to the house, whatnot. And as I'm walking over there, a Dodge Challenger pulls up into the parking lot as I'm coming out of the bathroom. And they get out and they walk into the bathroom and they're kind of looking at me weird. And I'm like, okay, it's 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is. I said, they're just not expecting to see anybody in this area. I said, okay, whatever. And at this point, she has convinced us to be like, let's drive by. We have enough guns, let's just make sure they're okay. Okay. So camera's recording. It's on the dashboard. Just in case. I didn't know at this time, the camera completely froze. It didn't record from the bathroom to the car. Now it recorded out to the car, but not back from. And I was like, okay, cool. So we pull up, Matt honks the horn a few times, cars on the side of the road, nothing. So I get out and I have my flashlight out. I have my gun at my hip, finger above the trigger. And I kind of go right up to the driver's window and I can't see through it. My flashlight's like basically right on it. So I go to the front of the car and it's empty. And I go, yeah, it's empty. At this point in time, she's out behind us with her gun, just kind of watching the back. And all you hear is her yell, slow the fuck down. And I look, 8 sets of headlights turn on behind us.
Yeah.
So
I was getting ready to pull forward so I didn't get hit. And then I'm like, well, the door's open and Brooks is right there. All right.
It was the Dodge Challenger and like several other cars behind it. So that Dodge Challenger left and followed us over, but it wasn't like we were that far away where we couldn't see them coming. So they were driving blacked out to us in the middle of the woods where there's no street lights. There was moonlight, but not enough where you can see through these windy roads. And like I said, we weren't that far where we wouldn't be able to see them come up behind us. So,
It's all like in an instant, like that. That's where it was.
Yeah, it was just
where the hell
lights
they come
went
from?
on. Yeah, all black cars. I think there was one gray one, but I mean, like they were all dark cars, all tinted windows. It's just like, okay, this looks bad on my part because I'm standing in front of a car with a flashlight with a gun. She's out in the back with a flashlight and a gun. And I kind of just look, my finger lowers a little bit, but not on the trigger yet. And I get in the truck and we just take off. And it was weird because I don't know where they turned off, but it kind of says like almost right at the border of the park where it says, welcome to the Great Smoky Mountains.
Wow.
They were gone.
Yeah, we took a completely different way out than we took in. So you wouldn't even go back to the park to get where we were.
Yeah. That's a wild night.
Yes.
It was interesting for sure.
Especially the night before getting married, man.
Yeah, it was definitely a talk around the wedding.
Yeah. I mean, we've all seen the Hangover film. I mean, that is just a different paranormal version of that. Wow, man.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun though.
And like I was telling you before we started recording, you're the fourth person to hear the story, because I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna leave this for the
Thank you, man.
podcast episode, so that way, other
Thank
people
you.
that I know would come and listen to more.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you very much, man. And this is still very fresh. I mean, this is
Yes.
literally a couple of weeks ago.
It was
Today.
a week ago today. It was
we
8
go
days ago.
yesterday.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it was last week. Man,
was
it was
last Saturday.
last Saturday. So we're recording
Yeah.
this on a Sunday night, and it was last Saturday. That's so fresh,
Yeah.
man. Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
I've
So
got.
when are you coming over to go hiking with us?
I mean,
I'm just wondering now.
I'm still coming, guys. I'm still. You haven't put me off. I'm still coming.
Okay, good.
It
But
sounds amazing, but scary. Don't get me
that's some
wrong.
of that Appalachia lore bullcrap, though. Like, we stopped the one time we were convinced, let's stop the one time and check on these people, and sure enough, 8 cars come out of nowhere. I mean, like,
Yeah, that's
no one drives in the park. And as many times as me and Matt have been in the park at night, I think I can count on my hands the amount of times or I can count the cars that we've seen over the months and the year that we've
yeah.
been in this park, and I saw double that one night pull up behind us. And like I said, they
That's
were all
so
blacked out
weird.
cars, except
Yeah.
for like maybe one or two. But when you have full on headlights on high beams on you, you can't really see what's.
Yeah.
But that first car was that Dodge Challenger, so they ran into the bathroom, they saw us left, and they came out and followed us.
So the guys that you saw in the bathroom, can you remember what they looked like, what they was wearing?
It was a guy and a girl. I mean, they were wearing what, like a black clothing. I think she had like a gray hoodie on or something like that.
She had a light gray hoodie on. She was about 5'6". She had a ponytail kind of up in a bun, dark hair, very like Irish complexion, very white.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
guy, he had like sandy blonde hair. He was about 6 foot tall and wearing a dark hoodie. Both wearing
dark
jeans.
hoodie, yeah. So I mean, that's probably nothing, but the way it all happened, it just seems very weird that why are you driving without headlights and everything in the park, and then pulling up behind us and flipping them on?
Yeah.
And over a bridge that you barely have this much room on either side of you to go through it.
Yeah,
it's all wooden bridge.
Matt's pickup truck, you can't open the door when you're going across it.
No, you could. No,
that's
I have tow mirrors, and I think those tow mirrors every once in a while, I'm like, how close am I getting? All right, I'm good. I'm just gonna keep on driving. I'm fine.
So these guys seemingly went off, got their friends, whoever they got, and come back looking for you guys, and didn't want you to know that they was coming.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, this was
they wouldn't have had any time.
Yeah, it was all within
no
like
time.
a minute and a half.
Oh, wow.
We left the bathroom. It was only a point of a mile.
Yeah. We turned right, went 100 feet. You go across a bridge, another 150 feet, and there's 150 feet, and that was it.
So 400 feet away,
cars like this,
and 8 cars come out of nowhere. I mean, and there's trees around, but on our left there's the little creek over at the school goes into this bigger stream. I would say it's about 200 feet across, and it goes into a little divot, but you can see the road on that side. It's a little bare, so you can see these cars coming for like, okay, they'll be here in like 45 seconds. You never saw them, so I don't know where we don't know where they came from.
Yeah, man, that's scary. I mean, that is a freaky night for sure.
We were saying earlier, so the scariest thing that we do is dealing with the public, not the paranormal or the cryptids.
Do you think these cars were connected to the things that the paranormal stuff that you was experiencing as well?
With the Tahoe on the side of the road, it could explain why some people were hearing the words help or screaming. It could explain that, and we've thought about that. But with our 2-mile drive back out of the park, we were expecting to see somebody walking on the side of the road. For our 15-mile drive home back to the Denny's, we'd never see a single soul. So we don't know where this person went, and if you're an idiot to walk into the woods instead of staying on the road in the middle of the night, that's on you. But I don't see many people doing that. Like, there wasn't even a trailhead at that car. Usually there's trailheads and everything, but even then, you park your car and you leave it. You don't put your hazards on.
Yeah.
the car was still like, you could still kind of feel the heat coming off the car, so it wasn't there that long.
That's
And
wild,
the only
man.
public area we were at was that restroom, that little paw
Yeah.
off. There was nobody there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's what, 10 spots there, and we were in 4 of them.
Yeah, we cross parked. I'm like, nobody's here. It's fine.
That's wild. So these cars, I mean, I know you're still trying to work out what they were, but what do you think they are? What if you had to say now what you think they were? I mean,
It's,
what do you
I would
think?
say it's one of 3 things. I would say there was the rod run going on, so it could have been a bunch of rod run people, convoying through the woods. I don't know why they would, usually they're lights and brights and neon lights, and you could see them coming from space.
Like Dr. Seuss there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It could have been those government vehicles, and they all had weird things. I mean, one of them looked like I saw the lights of a Mercedes. So it looked like a G-Wagon almost. It could be the government, could be the rod run, or it could just been random people being weird.
But those people
Cannibals.
don't drive through there in the no. I mean, they could have been. You never know. Food is pricey.
Man.
But most people, when they go out here for car shows, they don't take cars back through there.
They can't make it. I mean, there's
No.
enough bumps, and if they do go back there, they're always driving 3 miles an hour.
Yeah, we have no idea where these people even came from, where they went.
I mean,
Yeah,
trying to connect the dot. Like, I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, because if you have an answer or like a theory, we would love to hear it. Because
I
even on
mean,
our way out, there's not another turnoff to get off. It's one road out. I mean, it was 2 roads out. You can go back the way where the bathroom was and leave that way, and it's a 15-mile drive into Gatlinburg, or you drive this way and you come into Pigeon Forge in about 10 miles. So there's no turnoff really. And as soon as we hit the park 2 miles later, those cars were gone.
did you see them leave?
We don't know, like, because we kind of got out of there, and Matt was like, okay, if they're gonna drive up that fast on us, we're gonna set the speed and make them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taste
at the
the
time we were
dust.
like, okay, these are people, they're just being assholes, and they're just racing through the park. So we're gonna drive
So you
slow.
lost them. You lost them.
Yeah, we were driving slow and we still lost them.
Man. I mean, if it is a government thing, I'm just trying to think. With you said there was possibly 8, possibly entities, Bigfoot, whatever they were around you. Are they looking for those creatures? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
I mean, they could, but I mean, even especially the first 2 cars. Now the G-Wagon, if it was a G-Wagon, would have been the only car that could have made it up to that school. So if they turned off onto that thing, it's a gravel road, and you first go onto a hill, but even then it's uneven. So I said a Dodge Challenger ain't gonna make it up that hill without scraping up the bottom or ripping out a transmission.
Yeah. Man, that's so wild.
Unless they park and walk up there, but even then, that's
That would be stupid. Those are some hairpin curves.
Yeah.
And that road is washed out in a lot of places. You don't want to do that in a car.
Our pickup trucks make it up there pretty easy, but even then, we slide a little bit.
Yeah. So Brooks, at this time, was you feeling better? Was you over
As
the
soon as I got off the
dizziness and stuff?
bridge, and we made it back up to the school, I was able to breathe. So it was just down on that bridge. As soon as I made it halfway across the bridge, I couldn't breathe.
That's so weird, man. I mean, because a lot of something that comes with the Sasquatch as well is people talk about getting hit by infrared, or is it infrared? Am I thinking of the right word? Not infrared. Like infrared
UV?
sound. Infrared sound where they could it be something like that? Not infrared. I'm thinking of what word
I
am I
know.
thinking?
Infrared's visual. I'm lost here.
I'm thinking of the wrong word. You know what? When tigers can do it. What am I? Infrasound. Infrasound. That's what I'm thinking of.
I wouldn't say it's that, but I feel like something was definitely, or multiple things were definitely focused on me, where you get that feeling of somebody's watching you and you kind of feel like creeped out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's like, okay, I had several things looking at me, and it was so overwhelming where, I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, man. No,
definitely
because
a
I've talked
lot
to
going
people that
on.
have been in, looking for Bigfoot, and they've been hit by infrasound, and it sort of makes them feel sick sometimes, people feel delirious. They don't know where they are. I'm wondering if you're being attacked by something, possibly in that way. I don't know, but
I mean, it's definitely a possibility, and it would explain a lot.
yeah,
But I mean, obviously something was going on, but for what I know, it's just like I just couldn't breathe. The intensity right there was just very overwhelming.
yeah. And then as soon as you was off the bridge, it was gone.
It was gone. I mean, you still heard things, but I wasn't wheezing anymore. I wasn't breathing heavy. It wasn't for a loss of breath. It was just kind of, okay, we're cool. We're back. What's going on?
Yeah, man. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think that was? I know we don't know. We're still looking into it. But what do you think that was around you? Do you think it was Bigfoot? Do you think it was a group of Sasquatch?
There's nothing saying that couldn't be. I mean, I'm more of the skeptic when it comes to that because I try very, very much to justify anything and everything. Like I said, I'm the dad. He's the excitable son. Like, all right,
Yeah.
I see Bigfoot. No, you don't. You see a tree. Calm down. But in this instance, there's no way of just dispelling this. Not like,
Yeah.
oh well, it was just this, because
Yeah,
it
his
it,
friend
it,
asked
almost,
me.
it almost encircled us. It was really
Yeah,
weird.
his friend asked me that. He goes, "Well, what do you think it is?" And I looked at him and I was like, "It's a fucking Bigfoot."
Yeah.
I said, "I think we got several fucking Bigfoots right there." And I said, "I think we need to back up. We need to." This is when we were coming from the bridge back up. I said, "We need to back up and let's see where this goes." And Matt was like, "Yeah." And you could see him trying to figure out, like, okay, is it, no, it's not this, not this. There's, and even he said it later. He was like, there's not a whole lot it could have been.
And we could hear them in the woods right in front of us, like you said, about us 11 and 1. It was
Yeah.
right there at one point, and then we're going up the hill because we've got some people that physically can't move us very fast.
Yeah.
And then we start hearing them on this side of us and this side of us. It was the weirdest thing we've done so far, and I can't wait to go back and do more.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
man.
no. I said
Yeah.
we gave it a week to cool down. I think we're gonna go back over there next week.
Oh wow. Man, so we could have another podcast here.
Yeah.
So we're
Wow.
Might
the
have
next.
we have
Go
a
ahead.
haunted parrot. We have a haunted dog. Let's have a haunted child.
Oh yeah, he's they're adopting a child here
Oh,
in the
man,
next week.
that's so
No,
cool.
Justin's technically adopting. The kid's mine.
Congratulations, man. So you got a lot going on, man. You got getting married, kids, and Bigfoot in one
Yeah,
go.
that's
Wow.
right.
Oh yeah. I said
Man.
your next episode after this one's going to go. So we're gonna have a moment of silence for Brooks and Matt. They were killed by something strange in the woods. They were found mangled and.
I need to get this out quick. That's for sure. Because who knows what tomorrow's going to bring.
Yeah, we're
Man.
gonna
They
post
find the
this in
kid hanging from the tree in the car seat.
yeah.
Hi.
Oh,
Billy was here.
man. Because even when
Tattooed on his arm.
these things run at you, that's like, it's all Squatch activity, bluff charging. You hear that a lot. These things
I
run at
wouldn't even
you.
say it was a bluff charge, because you hear a bluff charge and they try to make as much noise as possible.
Yeah.
In any story that you hear a bluff charge, not all of them, but most of them, you hear like, oh, it sounded like a freaking bulldozer coming through the woods, and then it stopped. But usually when people say these stories, correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the time they see these beings. Most of the time, not all the
Yeah.
time, but most of the time, and they see them, they rush home, and they just stop or turn off. We never saw these things. That's the only thing stopping us from fully saying Bigfoot, even though we're saying it's Bigfoot, is like we have everything but the being.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I kind of like how Matt explained it with the boo ghosts. You know, you turn around, they move, you turn back around, they stop. I didn't even think about that, but I mean, it didn't seem like a bluff charge. It just seemed like, you know, they were trying to get closer without us looking.
Yeah.
And that's
Man.
kind of seems like that's why when we weren't looking behind us, that one was getting closer to the school without making noise.
Yeah.
And then when we turned around, those ones caught up.
It's wild, man. It is wild. And you're in an area where a lot of people experience this. You know, this is
Yeah.
you're in a prime area for Squatch activity. That is for
Yes.
sure. I mean, so the debate with Bigfoot is it supernatural? Is it flesh and blood? Maybe it's a bit of both. Who knows? But with what you guys are saying, it does sound a little bit more spiritual, supernatural. Um, you
I
know
would
what?
say it's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
I mean, from even in unless it's just what's the word, like it was just, oh, it just so happened to happen after I said it in my head, you know, I snorted as soon as I said this.
A
Unless it's
coincidence.
just, yeah, a coincidence that it just happened, I can't really say. It's one of those things where we'll probably have to test it a few times just to see.
yeah. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. Since I started this show, there's too many. There's too many
Yeah.
coincidences, man.
But
Wow.
it's one of those things where we have to think about it, like, okay, this was a coincidence that it happened, but it might be and might not be.
Well, with everything else that you was experiencing, it just you put it all together, man, and there's something very
Yeah.
strange going on there. That's for sure. Did the wedding
And
go smoothly though the next day?
Oh, it was great. Yeah.
he had one problem that whole wedding, and it was he had too much alcohol at the end of the night. He couldn't get rid of it.
Well, it's got to
I
be
started
done,
giving it
man.
away.
It's got to be
Yeah.
done. Did the paranormal with what happened? Did that make the speeches? Did that make the wedding speeches?
No, because my best man asked me, like, are we supposed to do a speech? I said, hell no, we aren't doing shit.
Ah, you weren't doing
Yeah,
speech.
I'm not a public speaker. I can't do that.
No, we do a public speech.
No, no.
I would have made it up on the fly though. I mean, you know, I would have, you know, yeah, best friend in the whole wide world. You know, yeah, we hunt Bigfoot. Yeah, cool. Yeah, wore dress for you.
In your dress.
Uh-huh.
Oh, guys, man. Well, I feel honored that you've shared this with me so close to the wedding. You know, this will be out very soon because, as I said, you guys are going back next week, and who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'll be praying for you both. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We're
The
gonna
moment
need
you
it.
post this, the government trucks, that G-Wagon's gonna pull up to my house and I'll be gone.
There'll be one knocking on your door and one of mine at the same time or an hour apart.
Hey, is there somebody at my Ring camera? Is there somebody at yours right now?
Man, wow, super. Is there anything else that happened over the course of that weekend that was freaky, strange? I know there was a lot. So,
Not to say like, oh no, that was just it. I really think like it all happened at once, and it almost sounds unbelievable, you know. But you know, this happened within a month of each other. All three of these stories, like the gunshots were about 4 weeks ago. The cannibal cabin was 3 weeks ago, and then this was this past week. And
yeah,
yes, one. I mean, in reality, it was all three different spots too.
yeah,
So it was like there was a lot of nothing, but when there was something, it was 100 miles an hour.
yeah. Wow, super interesting, guys. I mean, we've been going for nearly 2 hours, so we better wrap it up.
Yes, we have.
But I really appreciate you sharing it, and I'm excited to hear what happens next. That is for sure. Can you guys tell the listeners where they can find you, where they can see your stuff? And I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to see what happens next, man.
100%. And if anyone does want to reach out and try to help us, like, you know, debunk some of this stuff, we would love the criticism and whatnot. But you can find us at the Smokies Unforgotten Spirits on all platforms, and that's Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're on it all. And we have a link tree on our Instagram. I have to get that out more, so it'll be a lot easier to find.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome stuff, guys. Well, I will share your links in the show description. Thank you so much for coming on again and sharing this incredible, very recent experience. And
Thanks for having us.
I'm looking forward to hearing what happens next. So I'll see you next week,
Oh.
guys.
Yeah, see you next week.
So we're gonna schedule this for Monday now.
Yeah, we'll
and
schedule
talk
it.
about
Yeah.
part 3.
You guys are welcome back anytime, and I hope we're talking again soon, safely. I hope you're both safe, and we can talk more.
Absolutely.
100%. Thanks for having us.
Awesome
Thanks for having
stuff.
us, Tommy.
Thank you so much, guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you all soon. Thank you very much.